Hi y'all, welcome and welcome back to this video on challenges to Aristotelian virtue ethics. We'll explore main criticisms of Aristotle's ethical system, including vagueness, cultural relativism, and its limits in modern contexts. Virtue ethics, developed by Aristotle, focuses on good character and flourishing. Yet philosophers question whether it gives clear, consistent moral guidance. Vagueness and lack of clear guidance. The golden mean teaches moderation, courage between rashness and cowardice, but gives no exact measure. Because it depends on judgment, it can feel vague for decision-making. Critics say that this is problematic, that there are no fixed rules for every situation. They say it's too flexible and it lacks precision. Cultural relativism. Aristotle's virtues reflect ancient Athens, courage, honor, friendship, but others emphasize compassion or humility, like in Ethics of Care. If virtues differ by culture, can virtue ethics be universal? So think about the differences between the virtues that you see in, say, Aristotelian virtue ethics versus the virtues that you see in Stoic ethics versus the virtues that you see in Aztec virtue ethics versus the virtues that you see in Ethics of Care. So that raises real questions about whether virtues differ across cultures and times, which we see that they do, and then asks, are virtues universal? Moral conflict and practical wisdom. Virtues sometimes conflict. Honesty versus kindness, for example. Aristotle's answer is phronesis, or practical wisdom, but critics argue this is circular, since wisdom requires virtue, and vice versa. Dependence on moral exemplars. We learn virtue by observing moral exemplars, but who counts as virtuous? Societies differ, and this can become circular as well. We know virtue through exemplars and exemplars through virtue. This is always a good question, especially when you think about the things that different people might consider virtuous. It ties back to that whole idea of virtues as relative and not as something that's objective and universal, right? So someone that I may see as a moral exemplar, you might not see as a moral exemplar. How do we decide, and who decides who's virtuous and what counts as virtuous? Some critics claim that virtue ethics has a limited application to modern ethics. Virtue ethics focuses on individuals and not systems. It offers less guidance for modern global challenges like climate change or social justice. Now let's take a look at some of the responses from virtue ethicists. Defenders say that virtue ethics is not vague, it mirrors real life. Through practice and reflection, people develop moral insight and judgment, not rigid rule following. In conclusion, despite its challenges, virtue ethics endures as a human-centered approach emphasizing moral growth and the pursuit of flourishing. Here are some reflection questions for you to consider. Does the golden mean provide enough moral guidance for complex modern issues? Are virtues universal, or do they depend on cultural values and traditions? How can practical wisdom help resolve conflicts between virtues like honesty and compassion? What role do moral exemplars play in shaping your understanding of virtue? All right, y'all, that's all for now. If you're interested in more videos about Aristotelian virtue ethics or other systems of ethics or philosophy, take a look at the videos posted on our channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.